Hello. This is my sculpting tutorial, and these are all the sculpting things you'll need. I'll write them in the description box as well. So first of all, really important, you need tea. This is strawberry green tea, it's amazing. M&M's for energy, crispy or raspberry, really your choice. Okay, so I'm using Chavant NSP Medium clay. This is my sculpting tools, and these three are the main ones that I use. The rubber end one, and then the first rounded one, and then the sharp spiky one. Okay, starting with the clay, I'm gonna try and cut a chunk off. So it's pretty hard right now because it's Australian winter, which means it's 22 degrees Celsius outside, but not quite warm enough for this to be broken away easily. So I'm just gonna mold it down with a hairdryer quickly. And what I like to do first is just sketch out a rough shape on my bathroom tile that I sculpt on, just to get like an idea of how big the wound's going to be. Now grab your cling wrap and your permanent markers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trace over this area. Got your cling wrap with the design, you're just going to hold it up to your face, kind of see like how the sizing like fits. I'm just going to soften these bits of clay so they're usable. So I'm just going to smooth out this into like a flat raised bump on the board. Back to my plan. So probably get a little bit of marking on the surface. I don't know where things are going to go. I'm going to use this sharp tool to cut. I'm just going to follow the outline of the wound. So looking at the reference image, which looks like this. Remove that piece of clay. I'm going to build up the edges so they extend a bit further. So it's just blocking out like the basic shape at first. Your fingers are good tools for this because they're warm and squishy. Adding on a little sausage of clay. Trying to get rid of any lines. I'm just going to make it a little lip bit. Smooth it down at the front first. And smooth along the side here. Just make sure that part stays disconnected. Smooth it out underneath quickly and use like a round end to connect it at the base as well. Now this part's kind of the top gum line in the photo. I'm going to create that shape by blocking out, it's like a kind of a rectangle-ish, pretty thin shape. Just going to push that into the top here. Just using one of these wooden tools with a rounded edge, I'm going to use that to blend out the edges. Use my finger tool again. So the other thing that's important is trying to get this surface like level. I've got like some dips happening. I'm just gonna put like a layer of clay over the top edge. Use this tool again to sharpen up this inside cut area. Use that as gonna rake over the surface, try and smooth it all out, and get a good transition down to where your real skin will be. I didn't clean up this line actually. Let's just end it. Okay, so my memory card on my camera got full. So you missed the end of the last video, so I'll fill you in on the important stuff that happened between now and then. So first of all, most importantly, I made myself a new cup of tea. It's white with cherry pieces. I think this is essential to the sculpting process. Basically, I just got a double layer of cling wrap and I placed it over to try and get some texturing going. Okay, so I accidentally lied. The cling wrap wasn't the only thing I didn't show you guys. I just didn't realize how far back it had cut. So after I cut out the shape, I had to smooth out the edges again to get like a nice blended edge. So I did the same thing as before. I used this tool to like smooth it out. And I used like this little rake thing to then smooth it out even more on my fingertips as well until the edge got nice and blended. And you can use that if you need to reshape it. So if like, this edge is like too long or too big and you're kind of working it out and it's not really going to fit on your face, then you just cut out the edges and blend it down again. And yeah, pretty easy. So that's what you missed out on. Now we're going to go into skin texturing, yay! So I'm going to start off with the skins tool, this like prong thing. I'm going to do some little lines over it. Also just kind of rough up the surface a little bit. Give us something to kind of work with. So this is being sculpted for my face. And so what will really help bring your sculpture to life is working out, I guess, the lines, the wrinkles, the pore size, like everything about your actor's face or your model's face or your own face if you're applying it to yourself, and how to exactly copy it so that the skin matches. Because sometimes if the skin's too goose pimply or not goose pimply enough or too liney, it's just gonna be a very different skin texture where the silicone starts, and it's going to be very visible what part is what. So my skin is pretty smooth. I don't have very big pores, so I'm just going to make it pretty smooth with just like a little bit of kind of texturing and detailing in there. So another thing I like to use is this plastic toothbrush looking thing. You probably use a toothbrush for this actually. It's just like one of the cleaning things that comes with the metal cleaning things. Very descriptive. I'm just gonna get some lines in there with this as well. Just in like multiple directions. I'm also gonna use it to like push it down. And pushing it down gives the appearance of kind of pores and that skin type texture with the little tiny pore openings. Let's see how that's looking. Looked better under the flat wrap. Put some more of this in here. So what I'm going to do now is use a stipple sponge just to stipple some texture in here as well. Push quite firmly to try and get this to leave some imprint on the clay because the clay is quite hard as well. So kind of using it to smooth out any weird areas. So the underneath of this lip part I'm not paying a whole lot of attention to because you don't really end up seeing it, and when I was running these, that's where the air bubbles showed up anyway, so any texture you get in there it's just going to be not seen and air bubbly. Good tea. Okay, so now we're going to work on the inner detailing. This is where I had the most trouble trying to work out that fatty texture. Make little tiny balls out of the clay of like varying sizes. All these little balls we're going to put them in to the sculpt, usually along the edges. I even use this tool to help me because it's got a little tip I can push down with. I'm just going to place that ball there and just flatten it out just a little bit. little bit wider, just a little bit more to put them in. I lost some, I'll put them back. Like a longer kind of little sausage shape going on here. An even bigger one just below it. A few more little balls in. Put like a round, really flat one just on the end of this gum line here. And put a bigger one. Now here at the intro to the hangy part, a couple more of these flat ones over here. You can make the little flat ones various sizes as well. Another little ball part in here. Making these kind of more flat, spherical, flat round shapes, pushing them up against here. Just gonna keep doing this with varying sizes and shapes. So now what we're going to do for this part is using this rubber tipped end, we're going to very gently smooth out these edges just a little bit. You don't want to get rid of the shape too much, but you just want to kind of have not as much of a harsh line around it. So I'll start down here. I cut this part out as well, actually. See, that's pretty rough, it doesn't have to be perfect, because what we're going to do now is go over it with some naphtha, which, fair warning, does stink. Proper ventilation. Put a little bit into a cup, to a brush. This one already has a little bit of clay in there. Soak it. What I'm going to do, just paint over this all, and what it does is it dissolves the clay away and gives a smoother surface. important to clean up the edges of your sculpt. Make sure that it is a really nice seamless transition so that when you apply it to your skin it's not an obvious edge. Once you've got like the parameter all kind of blended out, you want to make sure that it's not going to extend too far because you want to have a little bit of room for the cap plastic as well beyond the sculpt. So this is where I'm currently sitting at. You can see when I put it on here that it might be a bit too close to the lips, and depending on where I sit it, we're going to extend too far towards the back of the face and below. Simply have to take this down a little bit, this up a little bit, and this forward a little bit. We're at the end. I just thought it was worth noting that I found this really hard when I was doing it. The sculpture that you see at the beginning was actually my third sculpt, and then the one that I did in the video was my fourth sculpt. The first one didn't look anything near like what I wanted it to look like, and then the second one wasn't that great, and the third one was like, oh yeah, I can work with this will be okay. And what helped me was like, I couldn't work out how to get like the fatty texture, so what helped me was both like sending through images to my friends that are really good at sculpting, like my friend Bethany and my friend Toby, like gave some really good feedback. And then also looking at, there was a tutorial on the Stanton School of Character Arts by Don Lanning, all about sculpting. It's like 3 hours long and it goes through all of these different things you can sculpt and the tools that you need. I signed up for the free 3-day trial and watched this, and it's just like amazing, and it really helped. And there's also a really good sculpting video by Stuart Bray about different skin textures and lines and things. That's on his YouTube, so I'll link that in the description box as well. Yeah, so I found those things really helpful, but I mean, I think the main thing is just like practicing and getting used to the materials and getting used to your tools. And so if it's like hard, like, you know, there's things you can do to learn more in terms of tutorials, but then also I think just practicing really helps. So I would definitely practice a lot. If it doesn't turn out the way you want it to the first time, just try again and again until you get there.